what happens in a scenario where it's found that, to your point, Tony, like they can't stop code? There's nothing like no government entity can actually stop the running of code from all walks of life. So over time, as more of these examples start to pop up, we were just discussing earlier how Iran apparently made $10 million in a digital payment of some sort of cryptocurrency. We're still trying to figure out which cryptocurrency that was, due in large part because they've been under sanctions for 50 plus years. Like what happens when more and more people realize like, hey, this just works and there's nothing they can do about it?
I mean, that's been the reality for years, and the government still hasn't realized it. So, maybe when Nancy Pelosi dies, when we get some new people in office, maybe that'll happen. But still, like, I think this is like a lot of things that just like humans in general haven't realized that, like when you tell people about Bitcoin and they'll be like, oh, the government will stop that. I'm like, no, they literally can't. Like, this is impossible. So, like, just most of humans haven't realized like the power that like computers give us, because the average the human just kind of sees it as like, oh, I have an iPhone and it lets me browse Twitter, but people don't realize like kind of the level of power this can give you, and it emboldens humans and gives them freedom.
So I want to shift us slightly. We've been using the terms, coin join, both within the context of Tornado Cash and also Lightning. Let's take a step back. Can you guys define for the audience what a coin join is and why it's important? And then let's shift over to what a Lightning coin join is and how that works.
And you're the man here.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, basically like a coin join, it's pretty simple. Like, so imagine like me and Tony both want to send a transaction. Instead of me doing a transaction and Tony doing a transaction, we do one transaction together. That's basically the concept. And then you just extrapolate that out into like, instead of like 2 people, you could have like 100 people. And the reasoning is basically like this transaction, if we do them individually, now they look like 2 separate transactions, and like, my address is tied to me, his address is tied to him, so they can see like, oh, this is Ben's transaction, he's sending to address A. You can see Tony's transaction, he's sending to address B, and it's not the best. So the idea of a coin join is basically just do that in the same transaction, and now they see that me and Tony are in the same transaction, but they don't know who owns the addresses going out. So that's kind of the idea, and then you can extract this out to like 100 people, so then it gets extremely hard because it's hard to calculate who's doing it. Like in that 2-person case, it's like 50-50 of which address is whose. There's 100, now it's like 1 in 100. It gets really hard, and this kind of just lets you like give you more and more privacy, and then you can kind of like compound these. So like if you do like multiple coin joins in a row, and then you're like getting exponential increases in your privacy and stuff like that. So that's kind of the idea. And like today it exists mostly in Wasabi and Whirlpool, and then Join Market as well. Those are kind of the traditional ways people use it in Bitcoin. And I don't know, I guess that's all I have to add there.